Hello and welcome once again to Virtual Vision FM, your platform to all things spiritual. We've had such an incredible week this week, and we're here this Sunday to give you a fantastic show with a wonderful guest, and yes, there will be readings. There is no Nina Ashby today. She is busy this week, and Nick as well is busy this week. So no Nick Humphreys and no Nina Ashby, but I do have the always wonderful Reverend Ted Woodruff. Hi, Ted.
I'm here. Hello, good evening.
Hello. So, what's new with you? How are you doing?
Oh, my life. You're going to have to control me tonight because there's so much going on. And you know, when I get on subject, I can talk for England. And although it's not all about me, it is what's sort of happening around me, and a lot goes on in any given week. Last Sunday, I just want to say to folk, I didn't feel really particularly necessarily capable last weekend, or I had a feeling I wouldn't do, and I'll tell them why. 6 months on from Mum's passing, my sister and niece came over to sort out the upstairs room. And whilst everyone around me knows, and probably most of the listeners on Virtual Vision knows, that there isn't a sadness about my mother's passing, there are poignant moments that happen, and they're the ones that get me. And it's more other people's reactions to the passing and the poignancy of that, you know, when they're younger people, or indeed my sister, who's particularly emotional about life in general. I've dealt with it, and I'm progressing. The property turns into this holistic centre, which is so taking shape. So my life is very full, and I'm getting big oomph of energy while I'm talking to you right now, which is so awesome. So most people know my ethos and what happens around me in my zone, that I'm comfortable with my mother's passing because I was there right at the end, and I was there for the months coming up to it. But there was a poignancy about clearing, to a degree, the bedroom upstairs, added to which the plan was and has happened that I have now converted my bedroom to my right into a healing space because of the uptake of people coming here on a regular basis. So my plan has come to fruition that I've now moved upstairs. Now, running up to this sorting out upstairs, I'd gone up there on a few occasions in mind just to do a little bit of tidying up and sorting out. And the most peculiar thing happened each and every time. I would go up there perfectly psychologically, emotionally okay. I would walk across the room, I would sit on the edge of the bed and look around and think, right, what am I going to do? And this wave of emotion fell over me each and every time, this incredible emotional cloud, and I found myself on the verge of extreme emotion and bursting into tears. Now, I know that I'm not, as I say, I'm comfortable with what happened. Of course I miss her, but it was meant to be, and all that goes with that continuation of consciousness and life eternal that I'm certain of. So it was meant to be that my sister Julian and niece Claire came and sorted it out up there. Each and every time I go up there now, there is none of that emotional cloud coming in. And those around me have said, look, she didn't want you moving up there yet. It wasn't right, and it wasn't necessarily for you to be doing it. So I've done the right thing. They've done the right thing. We haven't got rid of everything sort of that's cleared her out by no means. I always want a section of the room that relates to her, whether it's teddy bears sitting on an armchair or whatever. Not as a shrine, but just I don't want to eradicate her memory, because it was always her room, and it's a great honour to basically be up there. So that was last Sunday. It was the emotional reaction of those around me that I thought, there were moments when it wouldn't have been in my mind. It would have been on my mind actually being on screen and on the radio. Hence, I thought it's probably better off for me not to. So I'm back, refreshed. The healing room is set up, and I'm now, sleeping up there. So that was last week. This week, hey, healing room sorted out the front. Gates on the front of the property. Not the most exciting thing for everybody else, but I've wanted that for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it's taken so much longer than originally planned. So it's a little bit, oh great, they're there. But a couple of months ago I'd have been a bit more excited about it. But it does complete the look of the property and makes it just look, spot on. The tippy is stitched, it is ready, but the guy who's going to put it up is not, or hasn't been too well. He's been flat on his back, which isn't useful when you've got to have 12 large poles and then, getting a tippy up. But that will be within a very, very short time, I would imagine. And the wonderful Nicola Harwood, I had a meeting with her last Friday. She will be coming down and running workshops and courses in Atlantean Crystal Reiki, spiritual journey courses. She'll be teaching Reiki 1, 2, and master level. So that is great, because I've got someone who, Nikki, our connection started when I saw her on Channel 4, and she's a wonderful, wonderful woman. And seeing her on Channel 4 in a slightly controversial role, because she was saying that children, and she still believes this, that children should be introduced to Reiki very sort of early on in their life. And there are the not haters, but the negatives out there who were sort of against her and whatever. But I love people like that. I would engage with people who are controversial and out there, and she's got this bright red hair, and she's a bit of a character. And people like that get known, and it gets the word out there. And for me, it's the word. It's not about me. It's about getting the word out as far as possible across the world, as far as I'm concerned. And if I'm just one of those who is the face of or the voice of healing and spirituality and those belief systems, I'm quite happy to step up to the plate. But I do emphasize to everybody that there's no ego involved. It is not about me. It's the message that I want to convey and get as many people knowing about the normality of spiritual workings and whatever, that is very normal. It's very eyes wide open. It's done in the daylight and not tucked away behind curtains of the mystic Meg days, and that it's awesome. And one of those most awesome things is the transition of my mother. Who would have thought that I would have been taking it the way I have taken it, and 6 months down the line I don't think any differently about it. I'm glad for her. So yeah, busy week. It's always awesome. It's so energized around the house when there are people here. And then of course I have a few days where I settle down and refine myself, recharge my personal batteries, reconnect for myself. That is vital and important, something I'm always going to do. But yeah, I'll never lose the enthusiasm, because each and every day is a blessing, and what you can get out there and you can teach and you can facilitate is endless. So people who say they're bored, you get them every so often on social media. I'm bored. How in the world can you be ever bored with this life? Because it's like a little drop in the ocean, that we're here. Go outside and look at the stars, or out in the trees, or breathe the air, or walk, how can you ever be bored with this life? It's so fascinating, and so many opportunities, and so many possibilities, and so much to see, breathe, feel, experience. And if you're that bored, sit and meditate, close your eyes and connect with spirits that, or if you're not sure if spirits are real, you were to try this so much. So yeah, sorry, I'll stop myself because I could go on all evening.
Well, I totally agree with you, Ted, when it comes to being bored. What the heck is that? I don't have the inclination to be bored. There's always something that is so truly miraculous and amazing to put your eyes upon. And I I actually kind of feel sorry for people that do feel that boredom kind of thing. It's absolutely impossible for an energy like myself and yourself as well. It's really interesting though and kind of exciting just for those who are living vicariously through you is that you are living your passion, and that is the energizing that you tend to feel on a daily basis. And yes, you do need to take the time out and pay attention to self and get grounded and do all those wonderful things to reconnect and refresh yourself. So good for you for doing what you love to do and with such clear intent. You can't lose, right?
True, and I'm lucky. I am so lucky. I've seen people on TV who say, you know, they may be actors or they may be comedians or they're running a farm, you know, with chickens and sheep or whatever, and they say, I'm so lucky to be living the life that I want to be living. And there's plenty of them. Fortunately, the bored people aren't the most that are outspoken out there. There are people living their dream. There are people having a great life. Some of them have made a great life for them. Some of them are fortunate. Mine's a mixture of intent and good fortune, and I believe whatever was meant to be was written in the stars from past lives or whatever. I find myself in that, and I heard, I saw, I investigated. I've been shown some astonishing things, and as I say very regularly to people, I'm just a guy. I am just one guy living 200 yards from the coast down on the south coast of England, but I've seen some things, and I don't just believe just if I'm told something. You know, I like to see it with my own eyes, hear it with my own ears, and then I will believe. And the things I've seen are truly remarkable and very often miraculous. And it's important for me to have the proof. And I think anyone who is going to believe something needs to investigate it so they can be absolutely certain. And you know, I say that I do, and I do work with angels and archangels. I don't just say that as a random belief system of blind faith. I've seen the evidence of angel and archangelic intervention. I've clients who are receiving the healing from me report what they report. People around me see what they see. That's one particular thing I would actually like to see more. But when people randomly around you say such extraordinary things such as this, I saw your hands go within that person's stomach, and you look at them and you go, really? And they're like, yeah. And you say, well, I don't see that, and I don't necessarily even sense it, but oh my God, that's a bit special, that's a bit extraordinary. And others, such as Elaine Thorpe, actually, and she won't mind me saying this, a year or so ago I was doing a psychic fair locally in New Romney, and afterwards, it was several hours afterwards, Elaine said to me, what was that black stuff that was coming out of that person's chest area? And I said, black stuff? I don't know. Oh, there were strands of black coming out as you were moving your hands away from it. And I'm like, not aware of that, but hey, that's really good evidence that you're seeing it and others are seeing it. So, yeah, how could you not possibly be excited and enthused by something so amazing as that? That's just out of this world, you know, and I'm very grounded about it all. But when you hear these things, or you have your own feet picked up as you're running, and I'm not a runner and I've never been an athlete, when you actually felt your feet being picked up as you're running and you're like 100 yards ahead of the person you'd challenged to a little bit of a 100-yard dash, you can't deny that, what you feel within your own body and what you see with your own eyes and you hear, and the energy that flashes through. That's not just that chill feeling of somebody walking over your grave. That's a very strong spiritual energetic oomph that comes through, and you can't deny it. It's there. They're making their presence felt. So yeah, it's a great thing. So if you're ever bored, have a look deeper into spiritual matters. It doesn't matter what it is. You can go ghost hunting. You can go investigating and having readings and whatever, and go and have a reading from someone you just don't know and see what they tell you. And the day they tell you your mother's name or your father's name or something they just couldn't possibly have known, then perhaps you'll come around to that idea that you could believe that all things are
You know,
possible.
it's very true, especially when it comes to the reading aspect of things. You know, there's so many things that we don't know. We've never met this person before, and yet we are coming out with a whole lot of stuff that makes sense, and not just airy-fairy gray areas, right? We're coming up with specifics, and when I see the reaction and the response and see the healing almost just click in automatically, and now they're engaged in what you're saying instead of, frowning at you from across the table because they don't know what to expect, it really is heartening, and it is one of the best things you can do for yourself, whether you need it or not. Spirit always knows what it is you need, not just what you really, 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 really want. And so you always get exactly what is appropriate for you in the moment. That's just how it works, and I trust it implicitly. And speaking of that, I mentioned to you just before air that I have been teaching all morning. I taught a 3-hour course, and that is even exciting to me. I don't care how early I have to get up in the morning. If I get to teach, if I get to share, if I get to make a difference, I'm energized. And I just want people to know, as you've been talking, I have had a little bit of a yawn or two. It has nothing to do with you. It's just that with the heat we've been experiencing, I have not been sleeping well. And every once in a while, it does tend to catch up with me, and it could be like 10 minutes of extreme fatigue, and then I'm fine. So hopefully I'm fine now. But I just wanted to let you know I wasn't yawning because of what you were saying. I just wanted to be polite.
You know what I'm like? It didn't go unnoticed, and I was so tempted to say something, but
Yeah.
am I boring you, love? No, that's understandable, and the viewers and the listeners will get that. I won't be harsh on you, and bless you. You're doing the 2-hour show tonight, and leading with what's going to be a very interesting, as always, interview with a lady called Shera. So, shall I pop into this 1-minute me moment, and then?
Just give me a second here. I just want to address something that is going on in British Columbia as we speak, and that is a whole lot of wildfires are happening right now. And typically we don't notice here on Vancouver Island because our forest fires seem to be in remote areas. We're not affected most of the time. Unlike today, where we have an orange sky at noon and ashes falling, and this is going across the whole entire Vancouver Island and over into Vancouver as well. There is immense cloud cover. The smoke is keeping the heat in, and fortunately we aren't as hot today as we have been, but still it is a major concern. There's a lot of evacuation notices going up around the province, and I just want to send a very clear intention and hope you'll all join me in just ensuring that everyone stays safe and homes are saved as well. And we can't sort of dismiss the wildlife either. It's their home, it's their territory, and they're being moved as we speak. So let's all sort of intend on their well-being being preserved as well. Thank you very much for that. And Ted, I would love it if you would go into your 1-minute me moment. And if you don't mind, today, just for today, I'm going to scoot away from my computer as you do that so that I can bulk up on the coffee.
And have a yawn behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Not a problem. You'll hear when I come to an end. And actually, apropos of what you just said, I think that's a good thing. It is about intent and whatever, and if everyone sends out good thoughts around the world to those who have issues going on. We work in love and light, but in my case, for example, people don't come to me because they're full of wellness. They come to me because they're in pain or they have issues, and it is my lot, it is my task to be of service and to help people, and that's the wonderful part of what I do. And it just occurs to me, just randomly came into my head as you were saying about that there's a very particular dear friend of mine, John David Parker, who has a dear friend of his who is none too well, Ray Moxley, in, I believe, a German hospital. And I'd like to send strong love and healing out to Ray. And the thoughts are powerful. And everyone's thoughts are powerful. He's put it up on social media and kept us updated about the condition. And he is progressing, albeit slowly. So much love and healing out there. And if everyone could do that, and to everyone around the globe who is suffering, and there's a lot of it, sadly. So to the 1 minute me moment, folks, and I will, as I always say, it takes me longer than a minute to describe it, but I will try and condense it somewhat, giving Era a chance to have a coffee and a drag and a yawn, bless her. The 1 minute me moment, it came to me maybe a year or so ago that, we don't seem to get enough hours in the day or minutes in the day to do all that we want to do, and we tend to ignore ourselves because we're wrapped up with work and the children and relationships and all sorts of things that we kind of put in the way of our well-being. And so I just came up with the concept of taking 1 minute out of your day, which is a start. 1 minute for you. And my plan is, and it does certainly work from the feedback that I get, that you just sit in the chair at some point in the day. It can be at any point, morning, noon, or night, when perhaps your partner's at work or you're at work and you're in your lunch hour, the children are at school, whatever. Just taking one moment, to sit in a chair and ground yourself to start with. And imagine, for grounding, that you've got a vine between your ankles and then another vine attached to that one that goes down, 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 down deep into Mother Earth and attaches itself around a rock or a boulder or a tree trunk, a big, big solid tree trunk, and that grounds you and stops you kind of floating off in the etheric. And at the same time as you're doing this, and you can multitask on this, that's the grounding. Put a layer of protection around yourself. It can be any color you like. I like gold and white because to me they're pure colors. I'll tell you something about protection. You do this on a regular basis, it so works, and you've got to do it to believe it yourself. But if you can get in the habit of doing it daily, the grounding, for starters, it keeps you secure to Mother Earth, or the Great Turtle, as John David calls it, and others do, that it so works. Certainly from my point of view, for as many years as I've practiced protection and grounding, I have no major issues come into my life at all. And that's not just because I'm lucky. I'm, out and about and doing things and whatever. I'm not like a little hermit tucked away in the house and the world doesn't come to me, far from it. It truly does work. And I've had, as I say, reports from other people that this grounding and protection is so effective. So there's the grounding with the vine down to Mother Earth. Then there's the protection, like the Ready Brek Kid advert in this country, gold aura around yourself, the eggshell of protection. And then close your eyes and concentrate on your breathing. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your mouth and out through your nose, and that makes you concentrate on the breathing, changing the direction and which part of the face you take it in from. And then for that minute, which is taking me 5 minutes to explain, for that minute, connect with your loved ones, whether they've passed on now to the heavenly realm, as I call it, or they're still on the earth plane around you. Just connect with your loved ones, your spirits, your guides, whether they're Native American, archangelic, or human, although they're all human angels in one sense. Do that for 1 minute out of each day. And if you do it, like I've said, you've got to do it to validate it for yourself. It does so work, and it's only 60 seconds out of your day. If you can develop it to 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes in time, fine, but if you stick to 60 seconds a day, at least you're doing it, and try to do it. I was the same as everybody else. I wasn't in the habit of doing it. I forgot to do it. I didn't bother to do it. I didn't think it was important. Once I started doing it on a daily basis, it worked for me. It will work for you. So that is essentially it, the grounding, the protection, and the connection. And that is what I call the 1 minute me moment.
Well, try it and then deny it, everyone. It's well worth your time, and you're worth it. Show yourself that you have the dignity to allow your best efforts to shine. So today we have as our guest Shera Farrell, who's located in Alberta, Canada, and she is an intuitive. She has clairvoyancy, she's a visionary, she does sound healing, she does chanting, and she also is very knowledgeable about the singing bowls. She has clarity of foresight, which means she can very well see clearly into the future. And I would love to welcome Shera to the show today. Hi, Shera, how are you doing?
Thank you very much, and it's a great honor to be here with you. Thank you.
Oh, it's our honor, most definitely. So you are, what do I want to say, a well-rounded light worker, so to speak. Is there anything you can't do? I mean, the list is long and varied.
Well, it's been an interesting journey.
Well, I'd like you to share a little bit of your journey, encapsulated where it started and how you got to where you are now.
For about 17 years, I was in the field of sales corporately, in advertising and the credit industry and real estate, and also I sold printing and furniture. I love, the artistic area, the artistic art world, one of the last positions I had was was selling advertising, and I had left this position, and I have a friend who said to me that she was going to hear Bob Proctor. She and her husband were going to hear Bob Proctor speak here in Calgary, and would I like to come? And I said, well, who is Bob Proctor? Anyway, off we went. It was 2 weekends back to back, and he was standing at the front of the room, and he would point to somebody in the room and say, I know you hate your job, or I know you're not happy in a relationship. And I said, what do you get for me? Do you get anything good for me? And he said, well, what I get for you is you need to write a friend of mine who's in the Carolinas, and she teaches intuitive awareness. And so I said, look, I'm way up here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and she's way down in the States, the East Coast, and I don't know if that will ever happen. So he brought her up 5 weeks later, and she taught about 40 of us, and we experienced meditations, we experienced energy circles, picking up an object and feeling the energy of that object, like psychometry, reading photographs, seeing auras, that kind of thing. And anyway, I went back, and after that I got a job for about 2.5 years, and I didn't feel I was very good at what she had taught. And so one day I was about probably it would be 2 years and some. I was standing waiting to get into a restaurant with a friend, and we were talking about different readers. And I said, well, I once took a course in doing that, but I wasn't very good. And we get into this dark, very noisy restaurant, and she hands me over her huge ring, and she says, can't you help me? Can't you try? She said, you know what I've been going through. And with that, I said, well, Deanna, I can't do this here. It's too noisy, whatever. Anyway, she said, just try. An hour later, she leans over the table and she says to me, I want you to come to my house tonight at 7 o'clock. I will have somebody for you to read that you don't even know anything about. Anyway, I showed up at 7 o'clock that night, and so she started setting me up with sessions. And I have a sister who had moved to the West Coast. She's got 3 degrees, and she could not seem to get a teaching job, and she started to do palmistry and teacup reading in a restaurant on Vancouver Island, and people were starting to drive up and down the island to meet with her, and I think she was charging $3.50 at that time, and now she's in Hawaii, and has been reading probably for about 32 years. I have another sister as well who has started to channel and that kind of thing, and she works with the cartouche cards and that type of thing. So all three of us do intuitive work. I was lucky enough to get into a restaurant that I was in for about 6.5 years, and I would do 1,000 readings a year there in Calgary, and I still have numerous people that are clients of mine today, and that was back in the 80s. And so it's been a very interesting journey. I seem to often get lawyers. I don't know why I attract lawyers, but I have an Indian chief I've worked with for 28 years, and I pick up things often over the phone through my body, and I remember reading somebody in this restaurant, and they were sitting at the table eating dinner, and I took an object of theirs and holding it, and I said, "Oh, my neck is in terrible pain, the back of my neck," and she nodded, and then I would say something else about what I got, and then I'd go back to this neck problem, and I showed her the spot that my neck was, and so finally I said to her, "Well, it's like as though you broke your neck in another lifetime." And she said, "What about this lifetime?" And she had actually broken her neck in that spot, and so I pick up things like that. But it's been a very interesting journey with people and watching their progress and their journey, and it's now with Skype and by phone and whatnot. It's fantastic. Now, a few years ago, I came back from Toronto. I was living in Toronto, and I was staying with somebody who had a B&B, and I would cook in the kitchen, and she was downstairs on her computer, and she would hear me sing upstairs. I studied voice for 18 years through conservatories and whatnot, and she came up one day and she said to me, she said, "You should really do sound healing." And I said, "What is sound healing?" So that was when I started in about 2009, and started to study about sound, and sound is a great healer. It moves cells, it moves atoms, molecules. I have experienced, I've had a woman who I don't see often, but I read over the phone, and she generally has a half an hour reading, and she said after the half an hour, she said, "I've just got to get off the phone." She said, "I've got such a migraine," and she said, "I've had it for several days," and I said, "I've got an idea, Deborah." I said, "Why don't we do some sound? I will phone you from my landline, because as a landline does carry sound better than a cell phone." So I phoned her back on my landline, and I started to tone with my bowl Mariah, which is a crystal bowl, and she is an A vibration. And I toned probably for about 4 minutes, and she said to me, she said after that, she said, "It's gone. The migraine has stopped. It's gone." And so that was quite interesting, because I'm experiencing, all these different things here, and I'm learning. I've seen somebody who's a healer I read probably about 3 years ago, and a year ago I was invited to a gathering, and I took Mariah my crystal singing bowl, and this same lady was there, and she has a shoulder. She's a healer, and she's actually a massage therapist, but she's got the left shoulder. She could never lift her arm above her head, and so I started to tone with her, and then I'd stop, and because the left-hand side of the body really is the anima side. It's the feminine side, and she and her parents had separated or divorced when she was very young. She came to Canada with her mother, and she had some unfortunate situations with the father. The mother always made her feel like an imposition, and she is actually a very beautiful girl. And anyway, I started to chant. I started to tone maybe the total of 15 minutes, and then I moved on to the next person, and all of a sudden I looked back at this last person I'd been working with, and she's moving her arm like this and waving it in the air. And so after I was finished with the second person, she came up and she said, "I have no more pain." And so we had coffee and a little bit of a snack, and she came back up to me. She said, "I still have no more pain." And she would wake up in the mornings generally knowing what she was heading for in her day, because she would have to do massage work, healing work throughout the whole day. And massaging is hard work, especially with the arms and the shoulders and that kind of thing. Anyway, she about a week and a half later, I emailed her and I said to her, "How is your shoulder?" She said, "Still no pain, nothing." And that was a year ago in February of 2014, and she has that still has not returned. So it's interesting, but I one of my passions is the clairvoyance and the readings, and it's, you know, today with our world changing so greatly, many people are losing their positions. Many people have never experienced working with their passions, as you had said before. And I feel that we are very fortunate to be able to work and live in our passions. And people are really having to reinvent themselves. And, you know, it's with the numerology that I use, it helps to hone in on the person's abilities and all their gifts and their cycles and that kind of thing. And I do a basic numerology, but just recently, in the last couple of weeks, I had a woman who was a person who designed kitchens and bathrooms, and I met her a few months ago, and she came to me for a reading, and she's actually a 3 birth path, which is creativity, and I said to her, you know, I'm getting large murals, I'm getting you painting, but I'm not sure I'm really getting anything more about kitchens and bathrooms. So she phoned me in the last 2 weeks, and she wanted to meet with me again. And so I went to her house, and she's actually an interior designer, is her background. And she started to, because I had said to her about these murals, and I said, it's almost as though you're doing collage. But she started taking 2 art courses, and she had this book of collage work, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And I said, well, you know, you could go in and do walls for, say, a business, a feature wall, or be invited into a home to do a feature wall, and so anyway, I think she's off and running, and then I saw another client who has been painting, but she's making blankets out of her art. And raising monies for a burn camp. People that have been going through burns, because that other person I'm speaking of who took up painting just recently is a burn victim and was in a bad burn experience when she was about age 2. And she's now doing paintings, but now getting these paintings photographed and onto material, making them blankets and raising money for burn victims, So, I mean, we're really having to go with our gifts, recreate ourselves, and our world is just changing so greatly. It's, it really.
Well, I think you're absolutely correct. I agree with you wholeheartedly that everything is changing, but everything changes according to the universal balance of things as well.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter how many hardships we are seeing, there's the polar opposite that is created at the same time. So there's always this huge expansion going on, and it just depends where our focus goes for sure. You're also a channel. That really intrigues me because I'm a channel as well. So could you tell us a little bit more about the channeling aspect of your work?
Well, I suppose it is a channel in regards to, I don't look at, I've done thousands and thousands of sessions. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have a sister that lies down and goes to sleep to channel and sort of like an Edgar Casey channel. I'm not that, but I mean, it's really, I've dealt with many different situations, and I've just been very fortunate, and it's.
Well, I think channeling, I mean, it just has so many connotations, right? You can channel, like I channel the Council of 12, but right. We channel when we daydream, we channel when we write, we channel when we do the prognostications, right? There's so much that we do that is channeling. I was just wondering if there was a specific thing that you were channeling, but I'm really beginning to understand now that channel is open to come through any which way to help you be of service to others. So that's pretty remarkable, I must say. The intuitive quality that you possess, that intuitive knowing that clients are probably eager to get from you. What are some of the most profound messages that you have received and the impact, if you know of, the impact it had on your clients?
When I'm reading a client, say, sitting in front of me, I see the energy on either side, and one side can be the past, their past. The other side is, what is happening or what they're moving into. And if I see them in person, I do take an object, and the way I guess I work is a person can be sitting in front of me. I can be dealing with their mother and their father who have passed. I can be dealing with their business, their work situation. I can be dealing with, say, their wife that is not well, and seeing her in the state she's in. And I can also pick up on their children, but I do jump around. I happen to jump around. That's sort of the way it comes through. And I often, like, I've got a lawyer right now that has been using my services quite a bit, and he will. I just see things for the future coming over to more the left of his body. That's sort of the way I see it. And I see things that are waiting to, the time is ready for things to change, waiting on the right-hand side of his body. That's a funny way to read, but that's if I'm seeing the person,
Right.
Yes, and if it's by phone, it's through voice energy. And it's the voice, of course, is like a double-edged sword, and you've got to figure out the emotional side, the other part, which maybe is their career side, their physical side, and it's that again is another area in regards to maybe the clairvoyant area, and because the voice, the voice does speak a lot, and back to sound, our voice is our identity, it's our signature, and there's a doctor in the States who has his patients, his chemo patients, tone with their voice, with the crystal bowl, and they've often gone into remission with their cancer. Our voice is really important, but it's it really is. It's been a very exciting area to be in, and as I say, it's every session you're really wanting to help and touch that person however you can, and open up a door, or give them an answer, or that type of thing. It's just yeah, it is quite incredible.
It is amazing. It's truly amazing, and
Yeah.
and ever so fortunate to be able to deliver on that. I had to giggle with you though, because when you say it comes in all over the place, I get bumped around. That is so how I read. I mean, I just get bumped around all the time, and people might think that that's scattered.
Yes.
But really, when you think of it, time only exists here.
That's
and
right.
Where we're accessing, there is no time. So nothing has structure, nothing has linear qualities to it. You get what you get, and it's all coming at once. So,
Right.
We do tend to sound a little weird sometimes. I mean, I can truthfully say that. So I had to giggle because you're the first one that I ever heard say that to. So there we go.
Yeah, because your energy is. I mean, when you say you channeled a group of what? The group
Council of 12.
Yes, because they're very much in your energy, and on a very high level. Yeah.
And all the time. That's what I'm sort of finding out. Before it used to be I used to go to them, and now they're just there, right?
Yes, they're there. Yeah. Every once in a while they go, one will stick out, or two or whatever. But I'm sort of seeing there's a group, but sometimes they're in the group, but maybe one will stand up, or two or three will get together of that group, or whatever,
Yeah. What I find remarkable about that is that I can feel them. It's like being clairvoyant, being a medium. You're not always you're always connected to the internet, but you're not always sitting at your computer. So you kind of look the other way, and you tend to forget about all that stuff.
Right.
But then all of a sudden I'll feel them, and I'll think, well, that's cool. They're around, hi boys kind of thing. And then all of a sudden I'll be talking, and out will come something that is so deep, right? And I'm thinking, well, where did that come from? That didn't come from me, right? It's like they'll take over, and they'll sort of like come through with the words, right? So I never know who's kind of talking, and it sounds very schizophrenic to me, but that's the way it feels sometimes.
Yeah. So no, but I think that they're very happy with your energy, or they would not stay with you. You know, they're very content with your energy. You know, I'm also picking up the deep ocean. I don't know what is with that, but I'm just mentioning it in passing, and possibly with their energy is what I want to say.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. It's what we get to do is totally amazing. Totally amazing.
Say that again.
Everything we get to do is totally amazing.
Yes, it is.
It's
and
really,
yeah, it is. And I'm finding more shows have people that do this work. I'm watching television and whatnot. The one channel with Moser Zamer and whatnot. He has numerous shows, mediums on. It's just incredible what is coming. You know, you never saw that a few years ago on television. So
no, we've broken some barriers, and it's because of the icons that we have had around us, like the Sylvia Browns of the world. You either love her or you don't. And yet, no matter what your opinion, she did a lot to break new ground, specifically for this kind of work. So we have evolved to this place, and now the real work actually begins, is
Right.
what I feel. So we do have a question from one of the people in the chat room, if you don't mind, from Lynn, and she's wondering if you see anything positive happening in the near future with her work with animals and her artwork.
When's her birthday?
January, what is it, Lynn? January 14th?
January 14th.
I believe so, but I'm just waiting for confirmation.
Can she not speak out to?
No, can't speak. It's only chat.
Okay, I see. Okay.
So go on the vibration of the birth date.
Yes, because so with her art or with animals, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and it's I feel as though she's got she's very multitasking, and she's very quick. To me, she's got something set up. Animals are very important to her, and she's got a plan. And it just feels as though it's an important plan. Now, I don't know what I'm talking about as far as it just feels to me as though I feel as though it's taking time to set up and move forward. I don't know if it's sort of a political situation, but I feel as though it's a go. Is what I want to say here, but it's almost as though there's been situations that she's had to sort of go to such and such a stage or situation and get permission or whatever, and then move on to the next step and move on. And do you know Lynn at all?
Yes, I do.
Is she fair-haired or is she dark or what?
More darker haired.
Darker haired, okay.
Yeah, and her birthday, Shera, is January 14th.
Yeah, okay. Because she likes to learn, and very good mind, good memory here, but it's almost as though because I'm feeling something with the animals. It's a continual working through. With the art, I don't know who's got some sensitivity around the lymph glands, lymphatic system, but with the art, I feel as though, what type of art is she into?
Well, I can vouch for the fact that she is an incredible artist. Her drawings are spectacular, especially of animals. She also creates via sculpture using different materials, and those are quite profound as well.
Okay. Anything with larger paintings with art. I'm not talking about animals right now. Because she's doing something, she cares a lot for the care of animals, correct?
Yes.
Because I'm feeling as though, is she rescuing them?
Well,
Is she
if there's a rescue to be done, she's the one to do it. She's a great caregiver.
right.
She trains them. She also has trained search and rescue animals.
Mm-hmm.
So she's done so much work with them and communication as well.
Right. Okay. Because and she's very good at that.
Yes.
And I will say that with almost being able to connect with their angel
Mm-hmm.
on another level. So I feel that I feel the journey with the animals. I get stopped and started, but I'm feeling as though she's moving forward, and I don't know if there's something that she establishes for animals.
Okay.
Is my sense. With the art, like she really connects with animals incredibly, and it's so I feel now her art would be with animals and with other things, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm feeling as though yes, it becomes almost two different things here. She can communicate with animals. She picks up the personality of that animal and what they have gone through. She's very gifted that way.
Mm-hmm.
She can read.
And she's also able to do Reiki and help to heal them that way. So when you talk of rescue, that could be a component of that.
That's true.
Yeah.
I just feel as though there's something she's moving forward on in regards to establishing something in regards to animals. And I just feel that, I feel the two areas, but she's certainly putting in her time for animals to get something established, is my sense. Definitely.
Yeah. So, Lynn, you've heard what Shera has had to say, so why don't you give us some feedback in the chat room and let us know how you feel about what you've been told. Now, there's so many other people now who are wanting readings. Shera, are you up for that, or do you need a break?
No, that's fine. Yeah.
All right, Sandra, who is in the chat room, she's from England. Her birthday is November 14th.
Mm-hmm.
And she would like a general reading, whatever comes up for her.
What year?
1958.
58. So she's actually a very old soul. She's come back many, many lifetimes and reincarnated here. I think that she is okay. Because she is actually she's super sensitive. She, I feel, takes things at times and suffers emotionally at times over things. She is. I wish I heard their voices.
Yes, I'm sure. You know, at a later date we will have that capacity on the show, but right now we don't.
Because it is. She likes to be first. She's. I would say there's a healing ability with this woman. She's. I would say very creative, communicative. It's hard to do this when you don't get the energy of the person. because it's coming through you. But I mean, she is a 3. She's going to be very much of an organizer and structure and whatnot. But it's yeah. So
Sandra, what you've heard from Shera today, I know that some of it is at least right. I don't know you very well. I just know you via Facebook, but I think she kind of nailed you. So if you could let us know in the chat room, that would be great.
That would be good. I'd appreciate it.
I know how difficult it is when you don't have access to that sound component, but you know, you're doing really well. And
thank you.
Just don't realize sometimes. I know when I have to do things differently, I kind of panic, but yet it's spirit too, just saying, hey, no, you can do this too, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
But because I often like to either you know, see, you know, what they look like. I sometimes like to have a description of the person, and so you get sort of their energy type of thing, or their voice energy. You know, the voice.
So I'll tell you what we'll do, Shera.
Okay.
Just so that people can see the total impact of your work, and that is seeing and hearing. You can do a mini reading for me and a mini reading for Ted, and then we'll go back to the chat room, and then you can go back to just doing the birth dates. That way they can see that you're still picking up stuff, but they'll get more from you if they can, you know, see and hear. You can see and hear them. That way, we are cycling your website, www.sherafarrell.com, throughout the chat room during your time here on Virtual Vision. And now archive viewers will have that information as well, and perhaps someone would like to book with you. Okay, Ted is very graciously saying Era first. He knows he's at the controls today. That's all that is.
Era.
So, okay. There we go. My birthday is September 9th.
Yes, you have your own spiritual belief system. And did you ever do anything in the aspect of law?
I have been in the courtroom so many times, but only defending myself through family court. But, yeah.
Okay, because and very humanitarian, very sensitive, diplomatic. And what does your year add up to?
11. No, wait a minute.
Okay. Add 19, say, and you know.
Okay, it adds up to a 2.
60, like 1960 adds to a 79 or something like that. Or no, 1960 would be a 16-7. So yeah, so because it is just. What question would you like to ask me, Era? Okay, so this is like I didn't plan for this. My work. Where will my work eventually take me? Okay.
I've been at this for a long time, and sometimes I make giant strides. Sometimes I have baby steps, but I like to know when it flies. Okay.
Because I'm picking up. So you are actually. I would put you into an 11 to your cycle. This is a year of major changes for you, planting new seeds, starting new things, and you moved into this about June the 2nd, past just recently, and so I am getting. I don't know if there's a trip to the States, but I'm picking up something here about the States. I'm also, you're doing a lot of thinking about England. Maybe part of your heart is still there. And it just feels as though, would there be, is there about 4 different things you do, including the radio show or the show?
4 different things that I do?
Yes, in your work.
Okay, I do this, I do that, I do the other, and I do the show. And yes, there's 4 other things that I do besides the show.
Okay, because and my lower back is bothering me. I don't know whose lower back. W. I don't know who. There's a W. Well, Woodruff maybe. But I just feel that it's there's something changing. There's new energy, is what I want to say, coming in with one of the areas that you are. I don't know if there's one area that's feeling tired, but I feel as though there's a shift and there's a newness on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that make sense to you?
It makes absolute sense because I'm known as doing one particular thing, and it's that particular thing that it's not that I don't want to do anymore. It's just that it's not taking center stage in my passion, right? Mm-hmm. So there's something else that has come in that I'm really passionate about, but this is what people expect. So yeah.
Right. And I am picking up. I know you're in Victoria, but I am picking up a connection with Vancouver. And for work, you know, in this field, and also into the States. I don't know if I'm talking Oregon, if I'm talking Seattle, California, but I am getting that West Coast area, and I'm picking up a trip. I don't know who's got some sensitivity around reproductive area, but it just feels. Have you? I know you're from England.
No, I'm not.
You're not.
I'm from here.
You were born here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Canadian.
Hmm?
I'm a Canadian.
You're Canadian. Okay. I just. Are you? Do you feel connected to England?
Not entirely. It's somewhere that I'd always thought I would love to go and visit and see all the castles.
Right.
There has been some talk in the background of this show of my going to England or England coming here. So, you know, that's all very preliminary yet.
I do think you'll go. I do. Okay. What is with Africa?
Okay, Africa. A very dear friend of mine who is not a friend of mine anymore used to live in Africa for 5 years. He was over there, and yeah, there's a deep connection.
Okay, I don't know why, but ever since you and I got talking, I just hear Africa, Africa, Africa. You know, so okay.
No, so, not going. Not going.
No, okay. No, I don't blame you, but I just I feel as though there's something new coming into your life through your work that you're going to put a lot of time into.
Okay.
And it's so exciting.
Yes.
It's your passion.
Yeah.
What am I talking about?
It's my course that I just launched, actually.
Okay, and that is in what?
It's in the manifestation, creation, and universal life.
Right.
Universal laws, kind of thing, and I'm writing a book about it's called Living Universal Laws. So.
Yeah. No, this is very exciting. I'm very excited for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and I feel your energy is just it's sparkling. It's going to be really sparkling over this whole situation. And I've seen more travel and more public speaking and teaching and helping people reinvent themselves and change their lives.
That's what it's all about to me, is the self-definition and moving forward in life, because we're reinventing all the time. If we don't, we are paralyzed on our path. So that is excellent, and thank you so much, Shera.
Who is a Mick or a Mac, McIver McLean?
A Mick or a Mac, McIver McLean?
A name like that.
Well, actually, my adopted father, his middle name was Mackay.
Okay. Because and D as in Dawn or Douglas, I don't know.
I have a half-brother who's Doug.
Okay. And J as in John or Jennifer?
My adopted father, his name is John.
Okay, and my eyes are bothering me.
That would be both of them, I would think.
And H as in Harry or Helen?
I can't place that offhand.
Okay, right now. Okay. Okay, so that is very interesting. Okay, so no, I think that that's very exciting what you're launching. Yes, so
Thank you.
I'm very happy for you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what happens, just for those who are watching, that's what happens when she can actually get a bead on what you look like and hear your voice.
Yeah.
And you get such a fuller, broader spectrum of a reading. So these are mini readings that are given in the chat room, and because she can only get your birth date and your name, it might be a little bit shorter, but feel free to visit her website at www.sherafarrell.com and book your session with her and get the real scoop, the big scoop, the deep scoop. So, speaking of scoops, Ted, your turn. You're up to bat there, sir.
Yay! What a gentleman, ladies first.
Yes.
I didn't get an option.
Ah, Ted, when is your birthday?
21st of February.
Okay, my sister in Hawaii is 21st of February. May I ask what year?
Well, do I do an error on you? 1962. A very young 1962.
Yes, you are. Oh, you're not old at all. You're a young guy here. Well, just looking at you, you have I heard a little bit of your story and whatnot, but I feel three things around you that you do. I see a huge angel to your left. Yeah. And I feel as though that angel is there, it's constantly there. And now, did Mom have some? Who has had some heart problems?
That'd be me.
Okay. Did she have an illness like cancer or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. I just feel as though you have a total understanding of one another.
Yes.
Yeah. She knew that she had to exit.
Yeah.
And she was ready. And you did as much as you possibly could for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she knows that. There's still a bond. There's still that connection. And oh yes. But it's like you probably went through some grieving. I would say you went through grieving when she was still alive, as you could see where she's heading in her demise.
That's very interesting observation. Yeah. That would be very true.
I don't know who's got sinus problems. My sinuses are bothering me. I don't know who W is. Okay. But I'm picking up. So there are three things that you are doing now. Again, now this is funny to say when you mentioned that you worked in the prisons. I feel as though there's people from the prisons that that you knew back in a time that I feel they've gone, but I feel as though they come in around you, and I feel as though you help them with their energy.
Mm.
Now, I am getting my stomach is bothering me. You've had incredible times dealing with emotion.
Okay.
You have really at times suffered.
Yes.
Yeah, very much so. And I don't know who Al is. Initial Al, as in Larry or Lisa here. First name.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take Larry.
My back is bothering me. I don't
Yes.
my lower back, my kidney bladder,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And Diaz and Dawn or Donald or Denise or whatever your first name, last name. I just and Alice and Lynn or Lynn. Okay.
Yeah, Larry.
What's
You
Larry?
mentioned Larry, and there's also a Dawn that's very uh, present in a sense. But Larry is interesting if you care to expand on that, if he chooses to.
Okay. So is Larry a friend or
Yeah.
Ted? He is. Okay. Um, so and my right shoulder's bothering me. My left leg, my right shoulder. I don't know who that is. So Larry's a friend, and brown hair, dark hair, or gray.
Yeah, brown going grey.
Straight hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And has there been something that he's had quite a time dealing with emotionally?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm feeling as though a lot of heartache.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's he does not know. He feels as though he just doesn't know how to deal with something.
Yeah.
Yeah. He he's very and there's almost as though there's really no answers to it. Is that true?
Yes. What I will do, in fairness to you, is to say that he has passed some years ago now, but everything that you're relaying is spot on regarding.
He's in your energy. I can see him to your left side,
Okay.
where you're facing me, and I feel as though he's still around you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but was he shocked over his death, or there's something that it was like he's just sort of was cut off from something?
Yeah. Yes. Back in the day, it was very quick and very sudden, the decline. It wasn't a great condition he had, but he weathered it, and then he was in quite a state when we got to him, and he passed within 3 or 4 days of us finding out. But he'd been diagnosed months before, but hadn't told anybody. So yeah, there was an element of shock probably from myself and his immediate family. But I was kind of like a third son to him, so there was a strong connection there.
Yeah. Well, he believed in you a great deal.
Yes.
Yes, he did, and had a lot of respect for you, and so he's around you, and I feel as though he's almost like a guide.
Yeah.
He will just sort of he will just warn you, about certain things. But now, Ted, because you're a great communicator, and you are. I would put you into a year this year of change. This year, I don't know if there's much travel but a lot of change. You're going through an energy shift. That's what I want to say. I don't know who's having problems with their legs or circulation now. I'm jumping. Is Dad still alive or not?
No, Dad passed 2 years ago.
Okay. And I don't know who Jay is and Jim or John here, first name, last name here. And an M is Mary or Michael here, but it's was Dad his own person?
Very much so, yeah.
At times, one did not know where they stood with him.
Yeah.
That's true?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it's almost as though if I go to Dad, I don't know how to approach it. I could approach it this way or I could approach it that way. And sometimes doing it and in the process, like I don't know where this is going. You know what I mean? Like you
Sure.
wouldn't, you know, because sometimes he wouldn't say too much. Is what I
Correct.
want to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
And so that I do feel, I don't know, if Mom had problems breathing. Anyway, um,
He did.
he did. Okay,
My father did, yes. My
thank you.
father will be an interesting one to connect to because I had a very, very close bond with my mother, not the
Yes,
same with my father.
that's
He was
correct.
old school, gentleman, Victorian type, etc. But there wasn't the same spiritual sort of understanding from his aspect. But I know that he respected what I did in later life,
Mhm.
but I don't know that he always got me. Now I'm giving that information, but because he wouldn't be as immediate as Mum might be or
Right,
Larry would be from the other side.
right. My neck is bothering me.
Okay.
Okay, so I just feel that like Mom was warm,
Hmm.
you know, uh, she had heart.
Hmm.
Dad had a different upbringing, and
Yeah.
it's
A lot
like
of them.
I don't want to show any weakness. I can't show
Oh,
any weakness.
absolutely. That was him. Yeah.
So it's R. I don't know who R is. Richard, Rita, first name, last name here.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I can take both of those.
Okay. So it's but okay. Now, and I'm getting roses.
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
so okay, I'm picking up three different areas. So Ted, now you do healing work.
Hmm.
What else do you do?
I'm an auctioneer regularly on a rostrum.
Yeah.
I do car and van sales on occasions, classic cars. I do a lot of eBay. Um, I do a lot of work down sort of in the garden and developing the centre here. So I have a varied, what I find interesting life.
Yes.
But yes, I've got fingers in quite a lot of pies. And always looking for sort of business opportunities just to be involved, either supporting others or being a part of. I do events, I do fairs, psychic fairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, full days.
What about the healing area now?
Hmm.
Because you've been doing this for a while, haven't you?
Yeah.
I feel as though I have to say that there's an energy shift here. There's a change, and I'm picking up quite a high frequency of a shift here in healing
Hmm.
work. There's a change coming in, and it's very positive. Um, it's So you do auctioneering, you do eBay, you sell cars. Did you say
Hmm.
classical
Yeah.
cars? And because it's you really have to talk to your heart because you think about things and then you stew.
Hmm.
You stew over things, and it's like miracles happen.
Sure.
And sometimes we think something is this dreadful and we don't know what to do about it. We've got a decision we've got things to deal with, and sometimes we just have to turn it over to God, the universe, our angels, because I just feel that um, you've got to sort of turn some of these things over, and because I just you are at times a worrier, a stewer, and this is very hard on you emotionally. And
That is so interesting because for the last 6 months, I mean, who would sort of say that they stewed on things? I like to think I don't, but the last 6 months have been quite intense. since Mum sort of made the transition with what I'm planning and doing and achieving here. And there has been an element of loss of the relaxed atmosphere and giving it up to the universe and to the angels and trusting in karma and all that sort of thing. So I can get quite intense about things that perhaps aren't going the way that I'd like to, whereas months ago I was more chilled about it and had the road unblocked at the time. So that was very sound advice and something I need to revisit.
Yeah, you've got to talk to your heart.
Yeah, no, that's very useful.
Talk to your body, talk to the cells of your body.
Yeah.
And sometimes things just don't hurry up fast enough for you.
Oh, straight up, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah, don't I just, yeah.
So
I want it today. I want it yesterday.
Yes, exactly. So I mean, and you are, and Dad, with his upbringing, if he showed no emotion, he was okay. I feel as though maybe there was a parent that was very tough to deal with he. Is that true, Ted? With Dad?
Yeah, the connectivity wasn't the same as with my mother, and he wasn't a tough guy. He just, the connection wasn't the same. But I did have great respect for the guy as the old school gentleman.
Right.
But yeah, there wasn't that. Yeah, it wasn't until later life that I got to know him more. It was a little bit like the Journey Round Your Father book, yes, it wasn't necessarily easy going because of that connection.
Right, because he did better if he didn't show emotion.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, he did better, and I don't know with his parents if he was better off not showing any emotion, but it made it very difficult for him to deal with his wife or his children, because
that would make sense.
There's no emotion. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm getting an A, but that could be again. Here she is.
There she is. Thank you, Shera. Thank you. That's great.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. So that's
amazing.
Yeah, I resonate with everything that was said there, and some sound advice that I'm so going to take on board there about just chilling a little bit more in my head, at least.
Yes.
I know I'm impatient for things to happen. I think I'm right to be impatient because I want it to happen, because it's all good that I want to be doing. But I need to step back and let them intervene as much and more.
Is that the leg kept coming up, and don't you have issues with a knee or an ankle or something?
Do I what, sir?
Don't you have an issue with
my left
leg, like the
foot or something? And
Oh, the ankle, yes. I didn't really click with that. Yeah, knees ache like crazy, and I've had this ankle issue, the left ankle issue, for over a year now, and although it's better than it was, it's still debilitating me. Yeah, I've been pained for a while and slowed up, rather, by that for over a year.
It's amazing how sound works. What is going on with that ankle? What happened?
I don't know. I actually don't know. It was around January, February last year that it started to play up. I've had a variety of different opinions on it, but I don't ever remember doing anything to it. It just pulled, and it's just made it really awkward to walk for months and months and months. And although it's better than it was, there's still discomfort there. The only one person that helped it was a lady called Glynis, who may or may not be with us tonight, who did the Reiki symbols on it and anesthetized it, which was absolutely extraordinary because I'd never received healing like it. But it's never fully got better. And then there are others who say, well, it's not just the physical. There's actually a reason, what's the ankle, the weakness in the ankle, the Achilles heel. aspect of it. You know, that maybe there was someone around who was my Achilles heel.
Well, the
I'll
heel
accept all options.
represents. Is this your left ankle?
Yeah.
Because your left side is your emotional side. The heel represents the mother, and of course our feet. You know, it's like you're losing your mother, and it's like, and I just think that it's like she was being in your life for all these years, and your body was experiencing the loss before she left.
Oh my God!
So because your ankle represents, it connects with your foot, which is your, you stand on it. It supports your body and your, and your ankle and your leg and whatnot, and you're losing a support, but really you haven't. She's around you.
Oh my life!
Yeah.
Do you know, of all the things and all the people and all the diagnoses that I've had? That, I swear, do you know how enormous that is for me? Yeah, because that so resonates and makes sense. And do you know what's going to happen is, now that I've got the answer, it'll be better within a few days. Because I know what it is now, because it bugs me. It bugs me because there was no constant reason. But that so makes sense at the beginning of last year, and then the continued, the impending loss and the support that was going to be gone, sort of, but gone in one sense, physical sense. Oh, thank you. Wow, that is so enormous. That's
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Our bodies are. I have a far infrared hothouse. They call it a hothouse. It's actually a dome, and it's about 25 inches wide, but it shapes like a half a moon. And it's actually a licensed medical device. And I broke my wrist back in about 10 years ago. And I slept under this hothouse with my cast every night for 6 weeks. And I don't have any arthritis in it. It goes through bone, muscle, whatever. I mean, it's fantastic, this far infrared, and I think everybody should have one in the house. But no, I think that your body intuitively was and you were intuitively starting to feel your mother leaving, and knowing that for some time.
That makes some huge sense, Ted.
Doesn't it? Hey, wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And
we still have a couple of people in the chat room, Shera.
Let's try. Okay.
Unfortunately, we'll just go by name and birth date, if that's okay with you.
That's fine. Yes.
Colin in the chat room. His birthday, Colin, is July 3rd, 1939.
July 3rd, 39.
Yes.
Now, is this man dark-haired with gray?
Colin, if you could respond in the chat room. Dark hair with gray?
Losing hair or light-haired?
Losing hair or light-haired?
A full head of hair. Huh?
Tell us about your hair, Colin. Don't be shy.
Bless him.
Because
he hasn't responded yet. Ted, can you keep an eye on that chat room? I can't seem to post in there, so I'm not sure if I'm receiving.
Okay. Yeah.
He is. He's actually. I would say he's either mechanically inclined or good with his hands, creative, and he is actually a 32.5. Very, and he could be very inventive or very innovative. Super sensitive. I would say loves nature, animals, keeps things inside. A sense of perfection. It's also He is, I feel as though he's interested in the universe, and yeah, I just wish that he had, I don't know if I'm getting rocks or gems, if that makes any sense for Colin, but he is, I would say he can be quiet, interested very much in the spiritual area, and he is actually, this year he's moving into a 1. He's coming out of a 9-year cycle, which is a year of endings and completions, but into a 1 year type of thing here. So I don't know if that helps at all.
He has a leather work hobby.
Oh, okay.
He has a head full of gray hair, and that must be the Leo component, right?
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
And he did post earlier in the chat room that he's a mental color therapist. So
mental what?
Mental color therapist. So I'm not quite sure what all that is, but it does allude to his creativity and spirituality. And he's saying in the chat room that all is correct.
Oh, that's lovely. Oh, that's lovely. Thank him for me.
Now, I do want to give some feedback to you. You did a reading for Lynn right off the top, and she said, all that was said is true. The animals are so important. My recent artwork has been of large and life-size animals.
Wow.
When Shera spoke of being connected to the animals, etc., that is very true. Thank you so much, Shera.
Is she starting something that would, for animals on a public level? That's sort of where I'm seeing this with her. It's almost going to be, in a sense, political, but I feel as though she's got some stages to go through. I don't know if she's creating something for animals that it's going to make a shift or a change. It's opening something up.
Okay, I'll just rely on her feedback.
On a public level.
Yeah, and let's see what she has to say. Colin says it was most interesting, so accurate. Thank you so much, Shera. And next we have Christy, and Christy's birth date is October 10th, 1956.
Christy with a K or a C?
C.
C. Very old soul. Now, again, is she brown-haired?
Okay,
I'm sorry.
that's not Christy. Brown hair?
Blonde? Or
blonde. And you're wanting to know just prevalent hair color or natural hair color?
Natural, probably natural.
Okay, Lynn, thanks. We see that. Lynn's thinking about what you've had to say. We're still waiting to hear from Christy.
Because she's very old soul, likes her space, very inventive, can be very diplomatic, and she's in a year of major changes starting about July the 10th. She's going to move into an 11-year cycle, which is a year of major changes, planting, seeding, that kind of thing here. It's I feel as though there's been lots to deal with emotionally with her, and trying to figure something out. And I feel as though it's maybe on the heart side. So she is, she's actually, but she is a very old soul. She's a 41-5 and dealing with structure and always starting something new and multitasking, sales ability, loves to travel, does things fast, can be a communicator, though she likes her space, very sensitive metabolism with headaches or liquor.
Okay, so there you have it, Christy. If you could let us know what you think of Shera's reading of you, that would be great. Now, Christy has also said that she does have a full head of hair, salt and pepper. So there's that back and forthness there.
Yeah. Okay.
of
Yeah.
between brown and blonde sort of thing. So yeah, we'll just wait to hear from Christy.
Okay.
And Lynn says she is thinking about doing some stuff publicly for the animals. So there we go.
That's good. Um, I wanted to touch, if you, I don't know if you've got somebody else back there, but this situation with the euro
Yes.
is a real concern. I feel that the financial situation of Europe, Germany's carried a lot of the economic situation there. Thank
Yeah.
God that England didn't go to the euro and kept the pound, but I feel the financial things financially are going to tip because I can't see Greece staying in there, and also Spain. I feel, things are very tough there right now.
Well, that's an interesting foresight because I'm getting something similar to you.
Okay. Okay.
I know that the referendum was being held today, but I don't know the results of that. From what I'd heard, the no component was winning. But that doesn't say anything. I'm very cynical when it comes to counting ballots for some strange reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I do know that in order for paradigms to change, the existing ones have to come down. They have to be dismantled. So whether that is working to the good of everyone or leading into, dare I say, the new world order, what is going on, but it is of great concern. I absolutely agree with you. So Greece you don't see faring very well. Spain you don't see faring very well. And Germany is left holding the bag. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and Germany's put up a lot of money and to hold things together, and I think maybe who else is in on that? A few of the other ones. They put up a lot of money, and it's like I just feel Greece is sort of falling off, and I think Spain. I just think that there's a real problem on that, and.
How do you see the rest of the world faring amid this pending demise sort of thing? Because to me, with the Federal Reserve contract being over now for quite some time, it seems that the American economy has to bottom out. It has to crumble. Mm-hmm. And if the euro goes the same way, then it's sort of prime for the new world order currency to evolve, isn't it?
But it's scary to think about a one world law, a government, a currency.
Yes.
I just don't. You've got. There's David Icke. I've read some things on David Icke when he's written about the one world order. I think this is scary. I think that we should be separate. We've gone into globalization. You've got, they're sending cars to Mexico to be manufactured in Mexico and out of Ontario because it's cheaper or whatever. I just feel that we should, really be more independent and,
Well, I think that's what needs to, I'm not saying that we need this to happen because I'm a firm believer that there's enough for everyone and we should be able to all get along and all have enough. Mm-hmm. That's the way the universe works.
Yes, it does.
We thrive. Right. But what's happening is that the border between the U.S. and Mexico has already been dissolved. It's just not being announced. We have those immigrants coming in, and they have no place to be, so they come in. And what really kind of made me take notice is a friend of mine lives in very southern California, and they experienced a Cat 4 or Cat 5 hurricane that absolutely just leveled the villages down there. Mm-hmm. You never saw it on the news. The American government never sent help. The Mexicans came up and helped, and nobody said a word. So what does that tell you? That tells you there's no border. So the Canadian border is the next one to go, and when that happens, and that virtually has been dissolved as well, We have sort of the same acts, the Patriot Act and Canada's, sister act to that. We're in the back pockets. We're attached. That border is coming down. And then there will be a new currency called the Amero. And that's where we're going.
That's right. With the three, Canada, U.S., and Mexico.
That's right. And so this is all going to, come down to 3 or 4 little areas, not little areas, but huge areas that are all governed by one different currency between them. And then there will be the New World Order, which I firmly believe is NATO. That's the headquarters already, and that's not serving humanity's best interest at all. And the video will not be deleted by the powers that be. But interesting, you brought up David Icke.
Right.
Had David Icke on the show. Absolutely fascinating man. Yeah.
Oh, he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Every time I say David Icke, it's like, oh, I said David Icke. So now that we've sort of looked at the meanings of this, there's always a balance in the universe. So no matter what the negative is, there's always a positive that we can focus upon instead.
Right.
And so I would like to hear from you, Shera, what that positivity is that you can lend to this kind of situation, such as what is happening in Greece.
Well, I could be crazy, but I think that they're going to go back to their own currency, though I think that the euro brought them money, just like in Italy. I think the euro brought the Italians money. Mm-hmm. And I just think that they cannot, some of these countries just cannot, they just don't have the money to live up to that kind of currency. So, sorry, the question again.
What positivity can we bring to this situation that Greece is now facing? With every negative and despairing, doom and gloom kind of situation that occurs, the automatic polar opposite is always created at the same time. So how do we get people to not dwell on how terrible this is, and
right.
it is, because that will expand that even further. What is the positive thing that we can take away from this?
Well, I mean, I think that we need to go back to, at times, how we existed before. And maybe it wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
Maybe it was not so bad. And we'll see, what happens. I mean, there's huge changes in our world, coming up. I'm very concerned about the Arctic Ocean, and I'm very concerned about the water. Mm-hmm. Water is a big issue coming up for a lot of people. And
well, I know that Greece will, if they say no to austerity measures, then they say no, and more power to them. Mm-hmm. Iceland did the same, and Iceland is thriving. We just don't hear about what Iceland did or how it did it, but right. It is thriving. So there is always hope. There's always something something good can come of these things.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Definitely.
Things can, shift and change, and totally. I mean, there are miracles.
Yeah, and it's good. Paradigms have to fall in order for the new way of doing things to take root. And the new way of doing things, I'm not alluding to New Order at all. It's just that we, the people, need to find that new way and start implementing it. We do not need government to tell us what is allowable and permissible and what is not. So yeah, there's all these people that are coming up in the world, I think, that have this innate knowledge, right, that is surfacing, and it's how to do things differently, how to see things differently, how to be the love that we already are. Yeah. And once we stop finger pointing and fist pumping and judging and you're right, I'm right, you're wrong kind of thing, we'll begin to remember that all unconditional love is us. Mm-hmm. That is who we are. We're not here to seek it out. We're not here to earn it.
Right.
We are here to learn how to express it. And if we are more concerned about the unconditionality that we're expressing, we would have an entirely different landscape today.
Yeah.
I'm getting off my soapbox now. Ted, did you want to say something? See, you fire me up with something I'm so passionate about, and I don't shut up, right? Sorry, Shera.
No, you and me both when that happens. It was triggered by the David Icke comment, Shera, by bless your heart. And my ears pricked up and everybody else's did, because he holds a very special place in both our hearts. And just to wind air up, you know, I had my hands on the guy and gave him healing. That's my little bit of ego slipping in. But that was one of my bucket list moments. And yeah, you know, he is the phenomenon that we're aware of. Yeah, no, I haven't got anything particular else to add, except I'm still sort of reeling from your reading for me, which was awesome, and by all accounts, the folks in the chat room have resonated with everything that's been said. Was there anybody else that we can fit in? We've got about 8 minutes, I think.
Yeah, I think we ran the gamut on the readings, unless there's somebody last minute that wants to squeak in their birth date. I think we got everything.
We did do something with Christy, didn't we?
Yes, we did. And she said it was all accurate, except for the travel. But she feels the travel might come up for her later in life. So.
Okay, good. Okay, super. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Actually, I've got a question, if I may, for someone I know. I just wondered if you could do, based on a birth date, for a lady friend of mine.
Right.
Yeah, December the 14th.
Right.
1966.
66.
And I know her well enough to be able to say whether it's accurate or not, and to pass info on.
Is she naturally dark-haired but has gone lighter?
Naturally dark-haired, not aware that she's gone lighter.
Is she's gone lighter or not gone lighter?
Oh, actually, yes, she went unnaturally lighter.
Okay.
But dark-haired, yes.
Yes, dark-haired.
All these ladies
Bottle-induced. Bottle-induced.
So she is. Has she been very stressed around her work?
Yes.
Yeah. What does she do?
I believe it's factory work now.
Okay. Okay. She is. I don't know if she's ever been interested in healing. And healing work. She can be very organized.
Okay.
And she is very creative.
That I can take the creative aspect, yes.
The creative side, okay, because and I don't know if she has done anything on a supervisory level or administrative area.
No.
No, okay, because she has that ability. I don't know about reproductive area, very sensitive, but she's been in this factory area for some time, hasn't she?
Yes, on and off, yes.
Yeah. I don't know if P is in Paul or Patricia here, first name, last. It's like, is this factory work coming to an end? Or no?
It came to an end, and then I think it's been revisited. Did you say the name Patricia?
Yeah, I did say a P, initial P, yeah.
Okay, I thought I heard Patricia going on. That was
Patricia.
Very,
yeah.
Patricia, yeah, very, very connected with Patricia.
Okay.
This woman, that's not her name, but.
Okay, and this woman was connected with a Patricia. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, and K is in Kelly or Kelsey or Ken or whatever, but it's. I'm picking up new learning around this lady. December the 14th. New learning.
New learning. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm picking up some kind of new learning, and my lower back kidney bladder is bothering me. Who is that?
That could well be her.
Okay. So what kind of new learning do you know, Ted?
I think that's in the future. I don't know when it might be if she chooses to go in the direction of the healing learning.
Okay, because I am picking up some kind of new learning, with her, and she is she is super sensitive. This lady,
Mm-hmm.
and it's my sense is she feels scared.
Yeah,
She feels very, very scared,
that would make sense.
and it's um, is there a daughter?
Yes.
Yeah, or daughters,
Daughter, just single.
and a son, or just one one
No,
child?
single child, yeah.
One child. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I just it's yeah. She's really. I mean, when people's lives have they put all their certain time into a certain area for
Mm-hmm.
such a long time. Like, this woman's very sensitive, but
Yeah.
I mean, she really, in some area, I mean, factory work and whatnot is hard. It's noisy. It's constant, and it's like you're not developing your sensitivities generally in that
Mm-hmm.
in that area, and it really is. I just feel as though spiritual growth, I would say healing area, and it's I feel as though I feel there could be another job now. So she's still in the factory right now, isn't she?
As far as I'm aware, yeah. I mean, everything you're saying is making sense of. She has the potential, hasn't stepped forward yet. There is a fearfulness of it,
Yeah.
fighting her own sort of things. And there has been recently, the daughter had a baby, which was a daughter, and they're very, very close. So that
Yeah.
might be where you got the second daughter, in a sense, from.
Okay. Lovely. Okay. So it is just, and I feel the daughter's concerned about her mother.
Yes,
Is my sense here.
very much so. Yeah.
And I don't know if this lady is single for now. Is she by herself?
Okay, it's actually an ex of mine, where we still have a connection going on, and not in a good relationship. I won't go into details or names or whatever. So she may essentially be single, kind of, if you know what I mean. It's
Right.
it's one of those where it's a troubled relationship that she got into. Drink. Oh, yeah, there's the kidney aspect. Yeah, alcoholic individual in her life.
Okay. Because yeah. So it's I feel that if she could get into some therapy, that would help her.
Yeah.
To and to really move into the spiritual area, because she needs to start to feel some support from the divine. And, yeah, she does, and believe in herself. Yeah. So that's that.
Cool.
Is,
that's pretty.
That's
That's pretty spot on for her.
okay.
I don't want to dominate the sort of last few minutes of the show. Eric, was there one more question in the chat room? Did John David have a reading? Have we time?
And David actually posted the birth date in, so if we could cover that one rather quickly. It's April 17th, 1948.
April 17th, 48. And
Yes.
what's their name?
John David Parker.
Okay. John David, okay.
I think he likes to go by David, but we just call him JDP.
And when you call someone by initials,
Yes.
P, John David, JD, what?
JDP.
P, as in Paul.
Yes.
When you call them by consonants, because their vowels are soul, there's no soul in that.
Oh.
So
Okay.
it's like, J.R. Ewing in Dallas, if you ever saw that. He had no soul.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, John David. We didn't
No,
take away your soul.
it's always been affectionate.
Yes.
Hmm?
It's always been affectionate. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not with malintent from our point of view.
Okay. He. I don't know if he's interested in a business sense. And again, my lower back or kidney bladder is bothering me. I don't know if that is he or not. But it's he's very multitasking here. He is actually. I just want to check here. What was the month again?
April.
April.
April 17th.
Okay. So we have here 13, and yes, he's actually he's very spiritual, this guy, and he actually is creative or inventive. I feel so he has good ideas, and to recreate situations or himself. And he's actually a very old soul, born in April and born in 48, which adds to a 22-4. It's a master number. 1948 is like tests in relationships. But he has, sometimes when you have two numbers the same, like April and then 48 is another 4, when you subtract them, you get a 0, and that means that this person sometimes has a hard time finding their niche in where they belong because there's a 0 challenge for a portion of their life. But he definitely has administrative ability, and it's I don't know if he's gone through. Has he gone through something with sudden losses? Do you know that?
I can't speak for that as such, no. Although there are.
You can type that into the chat.
The spiritual aspect is very spot on, the spiritual, and the artistic aspect of fitting into that.
Yeah, he's very creative.
But I couldn't speak for his losses, although there are people around him who are none too well, it might be said.
Okay, because he's very creative, and
yes.
He can think himself out of things. If he's into a spot, he can sort of think himself out of something. And but I would say very spiritual, and he's a great believer in all this. Is what I want to say here. But yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah,
that's for
yeah,
sure.
he is. He's in a planting seeding year this year, so it's but I feel as though he's gone through some sensitivities, great sensitivities.
Well, I just want to make a note of and remind people that our intro and outro that is on this show for Virtual Vision was actually created by John David Parker. It's his creative original music, and the history behind that creativity as well is that he is a Grammy winner.
Wonderful! Wow, very creative.
Yeah. So I mean, his talent is huge.
Yes, right.
He shares it so freely, and we just love him to pieces.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you. Thank you.
So I hope that was okay, John David. I'm going to be so hesitant. I don't want to call you JDP anymore. I'm going to have to catch myself at every turn. Well, this has been absolutely amazing, Shera, simply because you are absolutely amazing. And thank you so much for sharing your skills and abilities with all of us. And once again, Shera's website is www.sherafarrell.com, and feel free to go and have a look at what she has to offer and perhaps even book a session for yourself. It would be entirely beneficial in my view. Thanks again. We'll have to have you back, Shera.
I'd love to come back. Thank you. very much for the two of you for
Oh,
hosting, and it was wonderful. Thank
good.
you.
I'm glad. Ted?
What can I say? Yeah, and I'm blown away. I mean, I had my moments a few years ago where I was a little bit question mark over mediumship and readings and all of this, and I've been steadily over the months sort of. I do what I do, and I used to say, well, I'm not a medium, and Aaron and Nick would be like, oh, but you are, and all this. And I thought before the show tonight actually. I haven't had any curveball questions for guests for a while, and you're no different. That because I think I'm just coming around to the fact that I do get it now, where I used to be at times a little controversial and throw in those curveball questions, but I haven't had to do for a very very long time. But no exception with yourself because. Your reading for me was just quite extraordinary, and in particular, I won't forget that ankle aspect because it finally put that sort of piece in the jigsaw. And I swear, almost certainly within a matter of hours or days, that ankle injury will go because now I know the truth.
Yeah.
And it was mystifying for over a year, and now I know the reason for it. It will, lesson learned.
Yeah.
So and thank you, and it's been fascinating throughout from the readings for everyone else. One day we'll know Era's date of birth. That's one thing that will come out in the
I
future.
am an enigma. I am an enigma. All you need to know is that it's an 11. That's all you need to know.
But yeah, thank you, Shera.
Thank you
great.
very much. Thank you.
Okay, thanks everyone for being in the chat room with us, and hello to all our archive viewers. We really do want to invite you to come and participate live and perhaps get your own reading. Thanks again, Shera, and thank you, Ted. It's been amazing. At this time just flies by. I don't know how that's possible that over 2 hours can just fly by like that. So it must be we're all having a good time, which is good. Next week we'll have another exciting guest for you here on Virtual Vision FM. Feel free to follow us on our Facebook page, or you can visit our website at www.virtualvisionfm.com, and we will have the archive version of this particular show up on Facebook and the website as soon as possible, within an hour or two. So there you go, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
Good night. God
Good
bless.
night. Good night.